In this video, you're gonna watch a real one-on-one coaching call that I did with a member of my community, Christine, who runs a travel and cruise YouTube channel and a successful 7-figure business. Now, her views had dropped off over the past few months, and by the end of this call, I found her an entire batch of proven video ideas that most creators would never think to look for, and a strategy to at least double her business. So if you appreciate me making this type of content, let me know by gently cheersing that like button, and let's jump into it right now.
Shane, how are you? I feel like I've talked about you 5 million times since I last saw you in Bangkok. I'm in so many YouTube masterminds with DC, and then I was at DC Next. So your name
Nice.
came up on more than 5,000 occasions.
Okay. Well, hey, I'm glad I've been able to be helpful for so many people in DC. Everything's great. Everything's been going great. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the YouTube stuff. Basically, what I did here is I started just by looking at your channel. I saw that you've got the membership side, so that's kind of your podcast essentially. And then you've also got your second channel. It doesn't seem like you're as active on that channel. And then of course you also have your Instagram. It does seem like you're quite active on Instagram. But is your YouTube channel financially right now, is it doing better than normal, less good than normal? You told me that you were doing quite well back in October, I believe. Is it doing pretty well right now, revenue wise? Because views don't really matter as much as people think, right?
When I saw you in October, things were pumping really well. And right now I'm speaking from a views perspective. So I had just come off like a big trip in which the content I was dropping was highly relevant, and then just did a complete stop almost this spring because contract stuff was on hold with my partner. So a long way of saying where I'm at right now, views wise, is kind of on the lower end. From a revenue perspective, I always view my YouTube channel as like, that's what pays for my champagne budget. For me, has never been what drives my actual monetization. So I track separately how many people are inquiring and booking their cruises with us. And that has some things to do with my channel, but more things to do with outside things going on in the world right now. I'll just say overall, I'm happy with how that's going right now. So YouTube channel drives that stuff.
So if we just had like a pie chart of where your revenue is coming from, website, Instagram, YouTube, just percentage wise, can you just say approximately where your leads are coming from for your business?
I used to have 100% of my business coming from YouTube. July, exactly 2 years ago, I started spanning into Instagram. I started spanning into building a Facebook group. I would say now it's like 50 to 60%. And the other percent is coming from other social channels. But the big thing that's important, and this is the way I always viewed it, is that this is my spider web. People come in on socials, but they eventually get sucked into the YouTube channel. And so they all work together in tandem.
Got it. And how about website? Do you get a lot of SEO traffic, like just people discovering you from your articles that you post on your website or anything like that?
So I had a blog strategy for a while in which my YouTube channels each had its own blog post with it. I didn't have a team yet at that point, so it wasn't sustainable for me. But at that time, I was getting lots of feedback from people coming from blog and website. And that's probably been a year since I've stopped that. And now probably very little to nothing. And I'm about to launch a new blog strategy again.
Got it. I'm going to write it down. Yeah. I like to ask questions first before I give my opinions, just because I don't want to bias your answers later on. It looks like you're getting about half from shorts, half from longs. My experience is that overwhelmingly longs are where the actual revenue is driven. We do extremely advanced tracking. And so we know exactly when stuff is coming from shorts and longs. And I just really haven't worked with that many channels where they're actually getting a lot of people driven to the channel from shorts. I think shorts are getting a little bit better, just a tiny little bit better at actually like converting into people who will watch your long form content. But it's still, we'll see.
Does that mean I should link the related videos? Like, I don't even think shorts drives any traffic to my actual long form videos. The reason why I make shorts is simply because I make vertical content for Facebook Reels, TikTok, Instagram, everywhere else. And then I just dump it over there.
Yeah. I mean, hey, if it's easy for you to do, might as well, right? Might as well do it. When it comes to shorts content, Instagram is the best for sure. Like short form content. I wish YouTube shorts were better because I'm the YouTube guy, but they just haven't been that great for me, or pretty much anyone I've worked with. Okay. So next one, I checked out some of these kind of competitor channels as well. Eat, Sleep, Cruise. So this one, for instance, they're getting about 500,000 long form views, 330,000 short form views. Another competitor channel, The Ship Life, getting about 700,000 long form views, 200,000 short form views. And then finally, Royal Caribbean Blog getting about a million, 1.2 million long form views, and then 17,000 shorts views. I'd say this one right here might be the number one in terms of how many views he's getting. I didn't find another one that was consistently posting anyways that was getting more views. You know, I checked out the website too, really good stuff on the website. One of the big things I was curious about is just like how much SEO traffic you were getting. And then Instagram, awesome as well. Now, in terms of the YouTube strategy, I'm very, very confident in the YouTube strategy that I think you should do. There's a couple different tools I use to find this. So first one, and if you want to ask more questions about any of these, just let me know. vidIQ is a nice tool. I use the chat feature here on vidIQ to kind of look some stuff up, like some opportunities for different keywords and stuff like that. And then really one of my favorite tools that I use here is oneof10.com. And this is used to find outlier videos. Are you familiar with oneof10.com?
No, I've never heard of this.
Yeah, this is one of my absolute favorite sites to find outlier videos. So what I do is I set the outlier score 5x to 500x, subscribers 900 to 97,000, and then views 100K to 1 billion. And I basically just look for outlier videos. I look for channels that are on the smaller side.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, 16.5K subs, and then they get a lot of views. So I look for at least a 5-to-1 views to subscriber ratio. This one, of course, has a much higher than 5-to-1. And I typically do not target channels that are over 100,000 subscribers. With that being said, you can break that rule a little bit just because you have a channel that's on the bigger side. This is a strategy that's designed for people who have small channels. I still use this strategy, and I still typically go with less than 100K subscribers when I use this strategy. But if a channel is like, 105,000 or 150,000, it's like, okay, you could probably break the rules a little bit. Yeah. But I don't like to stretch it too much, just simply because if a channel has a big audience, it could be that the reason the video did well is simply because the audience wanted to watch the person's video, and it's not because the video was that good. The person's just built up a lot of goodwill. Yeah, look for small channels, lots of views, and then the content itself needs to be either mediocre or preferably bad. So this one right here, Cruise Like a Pro, very, very bad content. So if you just watch this video really quickly, I mean,
most cruise mistakes don't look like mistakes. They look smart. They look
it's AI generated. It's just B-roll. This is not great content. This is mediocre at best. And yet it did extremely well. It got 10x views to subscriber ratio. It did extremely well. That's one that I found. Another one that I found was this one, 5 foods you should never eat on your cruise ships. Here's why. Same channel, almost I'd say 15x or so views to subscriber ratio. And it's the same thing. It's AI generated content essentially. The great thing is all these AI slop channels, they're great for the icon method. I love using them for the icon method to find video ideas, because if people are watching a video idea from an AI slop channel, that means there's massive demand for the idea, and there's just simply no supply, or very, very, very little supply of people actually supplying that idea. So if you came in and you made a video that's pretty similar to this, I'm not saying like the exact same title, but a title that essentially means the same thing. Also, you do want to keep the same format. That is really important. So this is a listicle style video. So your video should also be a listicle. Meaning, you should talk maybe like 15 foods that you want to avoid on cruise ships, something like that. So again, essentially the exact same idea, but just a different title. And you do want to keep the same format. That's really important. Now, a bit more advanced, you can change the format. Sometimes I just don't recommend doing it. That's more advanced. I don't recommend it. I don't usually do it myself. Very rarely will I do that. But I found basically an absolute treasure trove of these types of videos for you here. Hey, here's another one. Exposing the dark side of living on a cruise ship. I mean, 3.2 million views. That is absolutely wild, right? You can basically just take these videos and use the icon method. Don't copy the title exactly, but make sure that it has the same format and it has essentially the same value proposition as the original title. So an example of this one, I'll just come up with this off the top of my head. I'm not telling you to do this title, but it would be revealing the stark reality of living on a cruise ship or something like that. I'm sure you could come up with a better title. Just, screenshot it, put it into Claude and just tell it, hey, can you make a title for this one that has the exact same value proposition, but it is different than the original title? And then you just make your own version. Now, when I do this, I usually don't even watch the initial video except for the intro. So all I care about is the title, the thumbnail, and the intro,
Mhm.
and how good that is. And then of course I'll watch the intro just to see if it's AI slop and how good the intro is. But those are the three things that really matter. There was something about the title, the thumbnail, and the intro that really piqued people's curiosity. And so you do want to keep a relatively similar title, thumbnail, intro, and the rest of the video doesn't matter. Like it just truly does not matter at all. You can
Yeah.
say anything you want. I'm sure you know 100 times more than this channel about cruises. So you'll have a lot better information to give people about that stuff.
I
So
love this strategy. It's been on my list to go after like bigger topics because I play a lot in the niche. And this is the strategy for finding topics that I have not used. So I love this.
And I'm very familiar with like all the different niches. I've just been obsessively studying YouTube for like the last 10 years. So I'm very familiar with all the different niches. And in a lot of the travel niches, these listicle style videos do great. There's one gentleman that I followed for years. He's traveled all over the world, Drew Binsky. Most of his videos are listicle, and like especially the higher performing ones. He's made a ton of listicle style videos. It looks like lately he's not doing as many, but for a very long time there, he was making a lot of listicle style videos. They're very easy to make. They're just you sharing your experience. No one can argue with that, right? It's just, hey, this is just my opinion. People love it. People love to hear your perspective on things. Another one that I looked at was Royal Caribbean, and I found a bunch of good stuff there too. I think, some of these there's a lot of listicle style ones. So the 9 best cruise ships coming in 2025, you could also just do your own version of ranking every major cruise line. That could be a little controversial, but you could maybe do it in such a way where it's like, hey, this cruise line has the best food, but this cruise line has the best atmosphere or the best parties, or that kind of thing. You could do something like that. And so instead of just saying, hey, this one is better than this one, you could just say, hey, this one is the best if you're looking to go on a family friendly cruise, or this one is the best if you're looking, that kind of thing. So you can make it a little less controversial that way. But yeah, this type of video right here, again, 21,000 subs, 423,000 views. That is a 20-to-1 views to subscriber ratio. That would crush on your channel. That's kind of what I found. And I'll be honest with you, like I am extremely confident that would work on your channel. So I actually just stopped looking after that because I was just like, okay, that's the way. That's it. Boom. Just like that. So I'm very confident.
I have my video list for next month.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's tons of videos you can make stuff on. With that being said, the one thing I wanted to tell you about earlier is there's this concept. I heard it from Alex Hormozy, and this is honestly one of the best things I've ever heard of in my life, right? This is one of the smartest ways of doing things. So it's called more, better, new. And this is a concept I've found over and over again, usually through a lot of pain, that this is true. So if you have something that's working in business, a marketing channel that's working, a particular partner that you're promoting, or a particular type of monetization stream that is working really well for you, you should almost always just try to do more of what's working. Then once you have maxed this out, which most people do not max it out, then and only then you should consider doing better. And then and only then, once you've maxed out better, that's the only time you should consider doing new. This is just my opinion, but I have found this to be true over and over and over again. Most of the time, if I try to do something new, it ends up being usually a pretty big waste of time, or it would have just been way better if I had just done more of what's working.
This is the story of the niche, right?
Yeah.
Because for me, it was just new. I was covering lots of new all the time.
Yeah, because you were saying like you have a blog strategy that you're going to be launching, and if you've gotten most of your leads from YouTube, I really think that the best thing for you to do is to just do more YouTube. And I think you could definitely do more in terms of views, but also more in terms of potentially upload schedule, right? Maybe you could upload more videos or upload like longer videos potentially, because longer videos tend to do better, and just do more of what's already working. Alex Hormozy basically says like, don't even consider changing anything until you hit like 1 million a month. Now that's like a pretty broad, like different niches are different, but I would say generally speaking, unless you're hitting 500,000, 300,000 a month, it's usually not a good idea to consider changing your funnel or your monetization strategy or whatever marketing channel you're using until you've really hit like really big numbers. Because most people don't realize, you definitely haven't tapped out your market in most markets, right? There's still a lot of people in that market that you could reach, basically. I would really highly just recommend you just focus on YouTube, because YouTube is historically your big winner in terms of leads and revenue that's been generated for your business. It seems like you're really good at monetization, you've really got something figured out on that side. And so if you can just drive more views, even if the views from these videos, like let's just say you do the listicle videos and maybe they translate directly into more leads, and that'd be awesome. But if not, at the very least, send more traffic to your videos that do translate directly into leads, like the bottom of funnel, kind of like the spider web type thing you were talking about.
Yep.
That is going to either directly or indirectly, you're going to end up getting way more leads from YouTube and end up making more money.
This is so good and so painful to hear at the same time, because I know I need more like just hard hitting videos like this. But at the same time, I keep finding myself playing around in social media on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, etc. But I need to make YouTube videos. And so I'm like trying to streamline my team to cover all the social channels so I can just double down on YouTube. And I feel like I have to move to that strategy ASAP and just focus on YouTube.
A lot of these people that have massive presences on so many different platforms, they're paying their team $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 a month. They hired the best people in the world. They hired like dozens of people to help them with their content strategy. It's just one of those things, like it's just not necessary for most people to do that. It's better to just focus on what's already working. And YouTube is already working for you.
It is.
And so just do more. Once you max out the more, just try to do it better. Once you max out that, then you can maybe consider, I'd say Instagram would be a good one, or maybe just a second YouTube channel, right? And then you can max out that one, do the same thing, more, better, max out that one. So that's actually what Alex Hormozi did, is he recently just launched this channel called More Mozi. And he said in a video that his More Mozi channel, even though it only has like, I think 70,000 subscribers or something, it's actually generating more revenue for his business. This channel right here with 90,000 subscribers is generating more revenue for his business than his 4.3 million subscriber channel, which is pretty crazy, right? So he followed his own advice of more, better, new. He basically looked at the data and he was like, okay, YouTube is by far our best platform. How can we do more on YouTube? Maybe we can't do more on the main channel. We've already maxed that out. Maybe we can't do it any better. Our content's also already really good. So how can we do more in a different way? Well, start a second channel, right? Now, there was one other thing that I wanted to go over, and of course, I'll answer any questions you have here in a moment, but there was one other thing. I always like to say on YouTube, they come for the X, they stay for the Y, they buy for Z. So sometimes all three of these are the same. And if that's the case, you're lucky. That's quite easy to make that work, because then you can just pick one niche and the niche is your offer and your content is the exact value proposition of your niche and your offer, right? But for a lot of people, this doesn't quite work. There's only 4% of any given market that is in market at any given time. And so if you do this, you're just targeting that 4% if all three are the same, right? It's not a bad strategy for sure. It's a pretty good strategy, but for a lot of people, what we find is that the reason that they come to your channel, it might be X. The initial value proposition they come to your channel for might be X. So I'm just totally making this up just for an example, but this might be like listicle cruise videos. They come to your channel for the listicle cruise videos. They stay for the, let's just say, great personality and vibes and valuable info. And then they buy because maybe you like save them money, show them a good time, etc. An extreme example of this, when the X and the Z are really, really far away from each other, if they're extremely far away from each other, I call this Trojan horsing. Basically what that means is if your dog gets sick, if you try to feed it antibiotic, it is not going to eat. You're going to have a bad time. You're both going to have a bad time. It's just not going to eat it. But if you just put it in a little piece of meat, it's like, boom, right down, like easy. So that's Trojan horsing. You give them what they want in order to give them what they need. And so that's basically, they want the listicle cruise content, and what they need is to save money and all that, and maybe great personality and all that other stuff, right? So that's called Trojan horsing. So one of the best examples of Trojan horsing is, this is probably my favorite example ever, is the real estate niche, specifically the ultra wealthy real estate niche.
I love his book.
Yeah, Ryan Serhant, right?
Yeah.
This guy right here, yeah. So basically, he sells $100 million properties. And the only people who can afford there's maybe like 5,000 people in the world that can afford a $100 million property. And so like 99.999% of the 19 million people that watch this cannot afford his, $188 million mansion. And so he Trojan horses the heck out of it. Most of the people watch these videos just because they're curious and they want to see what a freaking $188 million mansion looks like. So that's what they come to the channel for. And then maybe out of those 19 million people he reaches the executive assistant or the aunt or the mom or the sister or the brother of a billionaire. And they're like, hey, did you check out this Ryan Serhant guy? He seems to have his stuff together. He knows a lot of good places. I know you're in the market for a house. And then that's how he gets his leads, right?
Yeah.
So this is an extreme example of Trojan horsing. Another really good example off of this is Arvin Haddad. So he basically makes content reviewing a lot of these videos that, you know, Ryan Serhant and people like that put out. So I think Ryan Serhant put out this one right here. So Turing, the most expensive listing in the country. And he did a review of that one where he was a bit critical of it. Why nobody wants to live at 432 Park Avenue's penthouse. And he basically said, hey, if you're someone who can afford this, you care about your time, most likely, and you're probably going to have to wait 15 minutes for the elevator every single time you go up to your penthouse. That is one of the biggest reasons why people don't want to buy this. He talks about stuff like that. And so he kind of like breaks down the pros and cons of these different properties as somebody who is basically a consultant for people who purchase these types of properties. And so people come to this one for the drama, and then they stay because he actually has extremely high level, in-depth advice on the pros and cons of these different properties. And then of course, the very, very few people that can afford these properties, they would buy because they're like, okay, this guy is not trying to sell me something.
Right.
He's being honest about these properties, and he can actually tell me the pros and cons. So the 0.0001% of the people that watch these videos that could actually afford this, they might actually reach out to him. Or again, you know, the executive assistant, the operations manager of a billionaire will tell them about it. You know, once you've found the types of videos that monetize really well, you can just Trojan horse and you can send other people to those videos from your main videos, and it just works incredibly well. And then of course, there is a good possibility that the listicle videos themselves might send a really solid clientele as well. Definitely try to just send people straight from the listicle videos. But if it doesn't work as well, then just send people from the listicle videos to your other videos that actually do convert.
Yeah.
And that'll work extremely well. So
That's a great example. I
That's the
like
strategy.
these examples. Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. My pleasure. So do you have any questions for me on this?
First of all, I'm totally impressed. Thank you. I really appreciate this. I have two questions. One is, I have my own way of doing thumbnail strategy and like looking at what thumbnails might make sense. I would love to hear your version of how you look at and think about thumbnails.
It's a great question. One of the biggest things is just look at what's already working in your niche. And that's kind of the quick and dirty. And I'm not saying by any means that you just copy other people's thumbnail strategies, but just think about kind of like what's already working in your niche and try to make similar thumbnails to those. So, and then also adjacent niches. For instance, if I was in your niche, I would probably look at Drew Binsky's thumbnails. He's not a competitor, but he is in a travel niche. So it is kind of an adjacent niche, and he does make listicle style content. So there's a lot of similarities there. And I would look at his listicle style thumbnails and try to potentially model off of those and kind of do something similar to that. The second thing that I would say is it is very important that the thumbnail and the title and the intro are all congruent to each other. So I would say it's actually more important that the thumbnail, title, and intro are congruent to each other than it is that they're good. It's that important. So just as an example, I just had a video that did pretty well today. This one did quite well today. I think it's my newest post here. Let's see. So this one right here, you'll notice that the thumbnail is literally just a still shot of the YouTube analytics dashboard. And then when you click on the video, so you'll notice that the thumbnail had, you know, $333,000 from one YouTube channel using Claude AI, just copy me. That's the thumbnail. And then the title had the same thing. And then guess what the intro is?
How much I made in
It's the same exact thing, right? And this looks very, very similar to the thumbnail as well. It looks extremely similar to the thumbnail. I see all the time people will mess this up. So just as an example, let's just say you're doing a talking head video and you're just talking about my 5 favorite cruise lines. And I'll see people do this all the time. They'll make sort of like AI fake version of themselves on the cruise line and, you know, like having fun on a cruise ship. And then the actual video is just talking head minute video of you just talking about your 5 favorite cruise lines. That is not congruent. What you want to do is you would want to maybe have like a cruise in the background and then a still shot of you, the way you looked in the actual video. Now you can enhance yourself a little bit. You can like put yourself into ChatGPT. ChatGPT is really good for thumbnails. I love Claude for almost everything else, but ChatGPT is the best for thumbnails. So you can put it into ChatGPT and you can basically just say, can you enhance the still shot from the video and just make me pop a little bit, just so it catches people's eyes just a little bit in the actual thumbnail itself. And then you can just put a picture of yourself and then maybe like the cruise lines in the background, or you could maybe just put the logos of all the different cruise lines around you. And then the text on the thumbnail might be something like best cruise lines, that kind of thing. It's really just that simple. Now, you probably noticed time after time after time, these channels popping off that just have super simple, basic thumbnails and they make super simple, basic content. And that's why. The reason it works is because people don't really come to YouTube for super high production quality. They mostly come to YouTube because they want to connect with other people. If they wanted high production quality, they would turn on Netflix, they would turn on TV, but they don't really want that. They want to connect with other people. And so that's kind of what you want to give the vibe of, just connecting with other people. That's my best advice for thumbnails.
I love it. It's exactly what I wanted to hear.
One other really quick one. Let's just say you find a thumbnail from Drew Binsky that you really like. What you can do is you can just screenshot that thumbnail, or if you want to be extra fancy, you could use a thumbnail downloader tool. I think even vidIQ has that installed somewhere. But basically, you just take the thumbnail, put it into ChatGPT, take a still shot from the video of yourself, screenshot that, put it into ChatGPT, and then tell it, hey, make a thumbnail where there's cruise ships in the background. The picture is me instead of Drew Binsky, but it is in that same style that he made.
Yeah.
But instead of the text that he put on his thumbnail, put best cruise lines. So instead of like best hotel chains or something, best cruise lines.
I have not been playing with ChatGPT for thumbnails at all, and I know that I've been needing to. This has given me the motivation to do it for my next video this week.
It's so good now. Yeah, ChatGPT. I love Claude for everything else, but ChatGPT is the best for thumbnails. It's so good. Yeah, if you have more questions for me, I'm more than happy to answer them till the end of the hour.
Honestly, my questions were, you answered the shorts versus long form strategy, because like I had a feeling like I'm not trying to go after shorts for YouTube specifically. I really just want to put the other vertical video for other platforms over to YouTube also. You helped me understand that, because I don't think any of my shorts are driving to my long form videos. It's great for awareness, but it doesn't really do anything else.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Some people would say that they're conspiracy theorists or whatever, but there's a significant amount of people that have said that shorts might actually kill your channel. They might actually hurt your long form. I personally don't think it does that. I don't think it really helps or hurts that much, but there are a ton of people that they were doing well on YouTube and then they say that shorts hurt their channel. And I do think a couple years ago that was probably true, but now I'd say it probably doesn't hurt or help most likely. But I mean, that could be something you could experiment with. Just stop uploading shorts on your channel for a little bit and see if your long form views go up, just to see, right? And this is why, and I get a lot of flack for this, for just telling people to not do shorts. Like there's a lot of people at DC that just really want to do shorts for some reason. They're just like, oh, I really want to do shorts. Like, I mean, hey, if you really want to, go ahead, but I just haven't found that it works. And trust me when I say, if it worked, I would tell you that it worked. There's zero incentive for me to tell you that it doesn't work. If anything, I probably turn business away because there's a lot of people who want to do shorts and I tell them, yeah, it's probably going to be a waste of your time to do that. And they're like, oh, well, now I don't want to start. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry for telling you the truth, but that's just what I found. But yeah.
That's helpful. That's helpful. When we were in TCBKK, we were talking about AI. I'm curious if you have any similar or different or new thoughts on that. You saw my comment in the DC YouTube where I was just like, I'm not playing AI at all. If anything, I'm trying to put my face in everything, like my authentic real face in everything. What are your thoughts on that these days?
I just think that AI is a tool. Everyone can use AI to help them enhance their content, like make better content, make content faster, make more content, but it is not something that can replace your team or yourself. It needs an operator. Any tool can be great if used by the right operator, but just on its own, all these people that say like, oh, AI can do everything, that kind of thing, it can't. And in the very, very rare case that it can, you're going to have competition immediately because literally anybody in the world can copy you. Somebody from India can copy you. And so very quickly it's going to get saturated and it's going to stop working. working. And in the very rare event that it doesn't get saturated and stop working, which probably has never happened, but let's just say hypothetically it does happen, YouTube has kind of been banning slash demonetizing AI channels left and right. Like they're not messing around with the AI slop. They want real human beings making the content. They are all for people using AI to make the content better, faster, and make more of it. But they do not want people using AI to just like fully automate the content creation. And they've been banning channels left and right. There's one guy who got 15 of his channels banned because he was using AI. And he was trying to do like the 100% AI automated stuff. There's actually a website that shows you all the banned channels. I wonder if I can find it. I forgot what it's called. If you look on that website, it kind of indexes all the banned channels. Like 98% of them are AI channels. So like YouTube is not messing around with AI. I would say additionally, what I've noticed is a lot of people, especially in a bit more sophisticated niches, I've noticed that a lot of people are gravitating more towards just more authentic content. Screen share content where you're just sharing your screen, or talking head content where you're just talking about stuff off the top of your head, like your experiences, things that there's a 0% chance that AI could fake, because it's just like, hey, I've gone on 78 different cruises and here's my favorite cruise lines. AI can't fake that. It's wisdom, it's experience. That type of content I've noticed doing better and better. And the type of content where you're kind of just aggregating information and presenting it, it can work sometimes, but it's kind of getting saturated pretty quickly because anybody can do it. Anybody can just aggregate information and present it. And so people are wanting more real examples, real proof, authenticity, real people talking about their experiences, et cetera, et cetera. I'm on the side of you should definitely use AI because it's a great tool, but it's not going to replace content creators. That's honestly just silly. It's going to solve a lot of problems, but it's not going to solve every problem. So that's my 2 cents on the whole thing.
I love it. Okay, it's in line with what I was thinking. I'm pulling together two things that you've said because one of the things that I have been turning my wheels about, and you kind of called it out in the beginning, I do have a member channel. And at first it was supposed to be like real authentic content, like the stories that I don't really want to put out to the rest of my channel that I don't want to say are controversial, but like more people would have something to say about it if I shared those a little bit more openly. I've been thinking about like, people come to YouTube for community, for connection, and people are looking for more of the authentic content, talking head or sharing screen. And I'm like, I've been playing around with like, what should like my value prop be if I did member videos, or should I just let it go? Because like at first I was thinking about telling like the real stories behind the content, but then I was like, is that really what I want to do? And then it's just like, it's a members first thing. If you want the videos sooner, that's what the value is. Keep the actual membership price very low. You just basically get first access. And especially for like my type of channel, I'm not really sure what makes sense because I'm no longer trying to do group trips. I'm not trying to travel with my audience anymore. I'm not trying to create community in person. So I'm not really sure what to do on the members video side of things. Curious if you have any thoughts.
If you don't mind me asking, are you making a significant amount of money from the membership stuff?
No, I don't even talk about it. I probably have like 30 members. It just exists there.
Yeah, more, better, new. Just do more of what's working.
I need to hear that.
Yeah, it's probably not a good use of your time. Now, from a revenue perspective, it's not a good use of your time. But if you genuinely enjoy doing it and it's not a drag for you, okay, yeah, just cut it. Yeah, don't do it. Because there's some things like if you genuinely enjoy talking about certain things, yeah, why not? But if it's like something that's difficult, just cut it and just do more of what's working.
There's so many things I've been having a come to Jesus moment about that you brought full circle for me today, Shane. Thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
And I really did have a list of 20 more questions, but in the way that you laid it all out, you answered all of them.
Yeah, I've been doing YouTube for a long time. I've worked in just about every niche, seen just about every type of channel, seen almost any situation that anyone could possibly be in. And I've seen lots of patterns of what people should do and like what order they should try different things and all kinds of stuff like that. So yeah, it's my pleasure. Hopefully this was super helpful. Yeah, of course, ask any follow-up questions if you have any follow-up questions that pop into your head. And by the way, when you make the videos, start with a minimum viable product. Don't spend too much time on your first video. Just try it and see what happens. Don't go extra and spend like 100 hours on the video or 50 hours or anything. Just make a simple video. Talking head, maybe you use a little bit of B-roll here, or you have, you're in the middle here, and then you just have like the cruise line pop up when you talk about it, relevant B-roll at different times. So when you're talking about Royal Caribbean, so hey, yeah, I've gone on Royal Caribbean. It's a great time too, da 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 da. And then you just show B-roll of you hanging out on Royal Caribbean. Just keep it simple, especially at first. Once you find the videos that do really well, that's when you can do the more, better, new. That's when you can make them better. So right now you just want to just try it out with a minimum viable product, and you'll be surprised, because if it's working for these channels that are kind of borderline AI slop channels, you could totally crush if it's working for channels like that, just with a simple talking head video.
Yeah, fire. Thank you, Shane. I appreciate you
Got it.
so much.
Awesome.